We've been in the trenches for a long time, and we've been addressing every stage of this journey. And we've worked with a lot of enterprises now to go big, to do agile-like tranches of deployment where they state they want to automate 40 to 100 processes in a given year. In the process, they want to start putting people through training and have them shadow and then take on more responsibility over time. And so we've seen a lot. And so I guess I would start by saying wherever you are on your journey, there's generally a few different sort of foundational decision points that I generally say an enterprise needs to ask itself that has almost nothing to do with RPA. And the first one is, are you a buy or build shop? Right? Have you traditionally learned to fish or hired fishermen? Because when someone comes to me and says, I want to build a COE for RPA, my first question, I know nothing about your organization. Tell me about the last successful COE you set up in your operation, in your organization. If it's not part of your organizational DNA to set up COEs, empower them, fund them, have stakeholders drive them, if you've not done that successfully before, now is not the time you're going to miraculously change the DNA of your organization just because RPA. Right? And so you need to ask yourself. And there's no right or wrong. There's no sort of shame in that. It's just, how does your organization tick? So that's one. The other is, don't pick a hammer until you know you've got nails. So the thing that I've seen for years is people do a vendor RFP. Right? You're doing a vendor RFP to see which RPA tool is the shiniest or the most magical or the most, the self-learning. Figure out if you got nails before you go buying hammers. And so there's a lot of cart before horse that's created a lot of resets and self-evaluations of, okay, we did some, but now we got to stop. The tools down and figure out what we're going to do next. And so it's sort of an ounce of prevention worth pound of cure kind of concept of figure out enterprise-wide what the goal is. What is success? What is good? And I would assert a digital operation as a stated destination is good, but what does that mean? Does that mean we have better access to our data? Are we emphasizing agility? Are we emphasizing cost? Are we emphasizing experience as the key drivers and measurements of success? Or are we emphasizing number of robots in? And what's a robot? So that's another one. Don't ever ask anyone how many robots they've implemented or how long it takes to implement a robot. Because there are task bots and there are job bots. And they're both called robots. And so in these events and others, if someone stands on stage and says we've deployed 1,000 robots, what they've deployed probably is comparable to the 1,000 licenses of Microsoft Excel they've deployed. They've got 1,000 desktops in a call center, and they've got some discrete agent assist activities. That's great. That's an important automation task that's added value, but that's a whole lot different than the person who says, my team and I just killed ourselves for 9 months to deploy 2 robots to handle an end-to-end employee onboarding process that cuts across 8 different systems. 2 of them are legacy homegrown with 2,000 decision points because we're a union shop and there's nothing easy about hiring a person in our operation. That's also a robot. And also added value. So you need to quickly establish a vocabulary that sets you up for success internally. And then my other rule of thumb is involve IT yesterday. If you don't involve IT yesterday and they learn about what you're doing tomorrow, they will come down on you like a bag of bricks. And you will lose 6 months in this journey that you may never recover from. Because they don't trust you anymore if you're in business, right? If you're the IT side, then be aware, stay tuned, and people are doing this in your operation. Go find them and be helpful, because this is kind of like cloud. It's going to get away from you if you don't contribute to the narrative. You'll find you've got Salesforce popping up everywhere in your organization and you had no control over it. You'll find you've got, a babble of robots popping up all over your operation, and you just you tried to fight it rather than to sort of cooperate and go with it. So those are the rules of thumb. In order to scale, know yourself and your organization, align with stakeholders, don't pick tool first, right? Pick destination first, pick the success metrics first, and then match tools to it. Right? Some tools are spectacular at assisting agents. Some tools are spectacular at replacing agents. Right? And measure what good is. As far as don't be about reducing people. Be about enhancing people.